Good morning, students. Welcome back to our English class. Today, we'll continue with the lesson Sword in the Stone. In the previous video, we have already learned half of the story. We have seen after the death of King Uther, people of Britain were waiting for their next rightful king of Britain. And at that time, many knights and other royal family members were trying to become the king of Britain. But in between, they got something in the churchyard that was an anvil, and in that anvil a sword was fixed, and it was written on a paper that whoever will pull the sword will be the rightful king of Britain. So it was announced by the archbishop that there would be the competition, and everybody, whoever wants to participate in and wants to try their luck, can participate in the competition, and whoever will pull the sword from the anvil will be announced as the rightful king of Britain. So children, here we have seen how Sir Ector's elder son, Sir Kay, wanted to participate in the competition, and his younger son, or you can say his foster son, pulled the sword as his elder brother forgot his sword at home, and he wanted sword to participate in the competition. So younger brother saw the sword in the churchyard, and he brought that sword. He pulled that sword from its anvil and gave to Sir Kay. So he claimed that I have sword in my hand, so I will be the rightful king of Britain. But his father, Sir Ector, asked the truth, and then what happened in the story? Let's see here. Sir Ector made him repeat the action, means Arthur. His foster son was Arthur. So Sir Ector made Arthur repeat the action again and again, means to pull the sword from the anvil and to put it back again. Each time Arthur gripped the handle and drew the sword out without any hesitation. Sir Ector was overwhelmed. He was, children, Sir Ector, he asks his foster son Arthur to repeat the action, and every time Arthur held the handle and drew the sword out without any problem, without any hesitation. Sir Ector was overwhelmed, means he over came with emotions. He became very emotional. He became very happy. He fell on his knees before his young son, who held the mighty sword in his hand, and bowed his head in deep devotion. Wordless Kay followed his example. Arthur jumped back in surprise. Father, why do you kneel before me? Am I not your son? That is what I had thought until now, Sir Ector replied, but now I know better. I know whose son you are. You are the son of the good King Uther Pendragon, and I bow to you. As you are the king of Britain now, you could that be you, and I know that I was an orphan boy entrusted to your care Silently, Sir Ector pointed to the inscription on the stone, which Arthur had not seen until now. Whoso pulleth out this sword is by right of birth King of England. But it can't be me, father. I am your son, and I shall always remain your son. Children, Sir Ector became very emotional and he fell on his knees before his young son, who held the mighty, very powerful sword in his hand. And Sir Ector bowed his head, he bent his head uh, in deep devotion, yes, with love, with respect. Wordlessly, Kay followed his example. Even Sir Kay followed his father. He also um, fell on his knees and he also bowed his head. Then Arthur jumped back in surprise by seeing them. Father, why do you kneel before me? Arthur asked. I am not your son? That is what I had thought until now, Sir Ector said. But now I know better. Sir Ector said that now I know better who you are. I know whose son you are. You are the son of the good King Uther Pendragon, and that is why I bow to you. As you are the son of the King of Britain, and now you have the right to become the King of Britain. How could that be? You and I know that I was an orphan boy entrusted to your care. He said to Sir Kay Ector that I was an orphan boy, means I was not having my parents and I was given to you as a responsibility to look after me. Silently, Sir Ector he pointed to the inscription. Inscriptions mean, children, words cut in stone. Means by cutting the stone, if something is written, that is called as what? Inscription. So he showed that to Arthur, and because Arthur did not see till then he saw what was written. Whoso pulleth out this sword is by right of birth King of England. Then Arthur said, but it can't be me, father. I am your son, and I shall always remain your son. Children, you can see here love of Arthur towards his father. He loved his father so much that though he came to know that he is the King of Britain, but he said, no, it's not me. I am your son, and I shall remain always your son. There was a flash of light, and Merlin appeared before them, a hooded figure with bright, shining eyes and a bewitching smile. Lovingly, he laid his hand on Arthur's head and said to him, indeed, I was the one who entrusted you to good Sir Ector for your own safety. Your father and I knew that great danger lay ahead for the kingdom and yourself. No sooner than you were born, your father blessed you and handed you over to me with a solemn request that you would take your rightful place on the throne of England when it was safe for you to do so. Turning to Sir Ector, Merlin said, in the name of the late King Uther, I thank you. You have done a splendid job of bringing up the heir to the British throne. Now you must inform the Archbishop and your fellow knights of all that has happened there. Here, I shall await your return. Then children, Merlin, here there was a flash of light, and Merlin appeared before them. Who was Merlin, children? In the legends of King Arthur, Merlin is portrayed as a great wizard. Who was Merlin here, children? Great wizard. Means whenever we read the various stories of King Arthur, the role which is given to Merlin is what, children? as a great wizard. Okay, so here there was a flash of light. Okay, and Merlin appeared before them. This great wizard appeared before them, a hooded figure with bright shining eyes. Hooded means wearing a hood. Okay, so and it was having very bright and shining eyes and bewitching smile. Lovingly, he laid his hand on Arthur's head and said to him, "Indeed, I was the one who entrusted you to good Sir Hector." As Arthur was knowing that he was entrusted to Sir Hector to look after him, so Merlin said that it was I who entrusted you to good Sir Hector for your own safety. Your father and I was knowing about the great danger ahead for the kingdom and for yourself. That is why, as you were born, your father blessed you and handed you over to me with the great request that you would take care your rightful place on the throne of England when it was safe for you to do so. Then he turned to Sir Hector, and Merlin said, "In the name of the late King Arthur, I thank you. You have done a splendid, means very great job bringing up the heir, the successor to the British throne, and you must inform the Archbishop and your fellow knights of all that has happened here." Merlin said that you should go and inform whatever has happened here to the Archbishop and the knights. I shall wait for your return. Forthwith, Sir Hector called upon the Archbishop and all the lords assembled at the tournament. Forthwith means, children, at once or immediately. Sir Hector called upon the Archbishop and the lords who were assembled at the tournament. Holding Arthur by hand, he announced to the assembly, "Behold the rightful king of England." He held Arthur's hand and he announced to the assembly that, "I hold the hand of the rightful king of England." For a moment there was a silence, and then the crowd burst out in angry protest. Children, for a moment after hearing that the person whose hand I hold is the rightful king of England, there was a silence, and the entire crowd burst out in angry protest. They all became angry. "How can we believe you? Who is this unknown boy? Where did he come from?" They had a lot of questions, because children, why they got angry? Because they wanted themselves to be the king of Britain. So they asked, "How can we believe that this boy is a rightful king of England, and who is he? Where did he come from? And how is he any better than one of us?" The Archbishop took them all to the churchyard. The entire assemblage watched in awe as Arthur inserted the sword in the anvil and drew it out effortlessly. Children, the Archbishop took all the knights, lords to the churchyard, and the entire assemblage means a group of people, watched in awe and surprise when Arthur inserted the sword in the anvil and again drew it out without any problem, without any effort. Some of the lords and knights also tried to draw the sword, but they all failed to do so. Again and yet again, Arthur drew the sword from the stone before his people. Children, other knights and lords, they also tried to draw the sword and to insert the sword into the anvil, but they all failed. And again, Arthur drew the sword from the stone before his people. Each time cheers went up. They all were happy, they all were cheering, and each time more and more knights drew their swords and held them high in a gesture of loyalty to their new-found prince. Knights were also happy and they drew out their sword and they held their sword high in a gesture of loyalty that they all were loyal to their newly found prince. Loud cheers rose from the common people who had surrounded the churchyard. They all were eager, curious to greet. They were being impatient to greet to wish their new king. Now Merlin stepped out of the shadows and addressed the crowds. Behold, O people of Britain, I present to you the one and only son of King Uther Pendragon and his queen. He is your rightful king. And at that time, children, what happened? Merlin came out of the shadow and he addressed to the crowd that people, you see, this is the rightful king, or you can say the son, the only son of King Uther Pendragon and his queen, and he is the only rightful king of Britain. So, children, here what do we learn from the story? That if you really deserve something, then it will definitely come to you. If you are the rightful person for deserving something, then ultimately the things come to you. If you are good by heart, the things becomes in return becomes good to you. So thank you, children. I hope you all enjoyed the story.